So going back to the matter that just happened to me at the Supreme Court building, he said that no knives were permitted of every kind, but there's nothing like this on the door as of 120 Eagle. Now, if this was on the door, I would pay attention to that, because now my survival tools are inadmissible. They're not allowed in this building. They're niche. They're not niche. They're null and void. They're fugazi. It's not allowed. That's understandable. And this is the Re-Entry Opportunity Center. So, here we go. Here's the. Let's give it. And then it says ring door to let me in. All right. And then here we go. 120 Eagle. And then that's the notice that should be on his door, correct? But that notice isn't there. Now we're going to go back and we're going to check the side door to make sure there's not even one on that either. Because like I said, if you're going to give me an unlawful command, I'm going to make sure that it's thorough, and I'm going to have to teach them that this is the notice you need on the door if you're going to give such a command. Otherwise, you're baiting the citizens. And it doesn't matter how many people in the law raise an eyebrow to me. It's too bad. You're not allowed to do these things, but you think you are because you know that the people are poor. Well, now you get me. Someone who's poor and not afraid. And it would be a travesty if these waivers weren't, answered. But that's okay, because I'm not depending on the waivers. They're just depending on me to be broke. And I'm not asking anybody to back me. In fact, I'd rather just do it on my own. Why give someone else credit for my diligent hard work? There's probably an officer in there with his windows murdered out, but everybody's getting, arrested for having all blacked out windows all the way around. Okay, so here we go. Unified Court District. I don't see anything that states like that picture that I just showed you. And look, there's not even one on 77 West Eagle, so we're gonna look at this door. Okay, so there's nothing on that door either. Nothing there. Now we're gonna go over to 77 Eagle. I'm gonna show you the same thing. So, if I get incarcerated, which makes me go past my civil court dates, regardless if I'm in there for 40 years, I'll have a way to get out. I'm going to show the same thing. This is 77 West Eagle, where I was giving tons of wrong information. Okay? See that? Look at that. No such thing that says not allowed to bring survival tools in. So, again, that officer lied, and actually lied and then told me it was law, and then said he had to look it up if I wanted the exact law. But you're giving me a lawful order without knowing anything about it. Okay, Hota, who can play that rule, that game? You guys are going to turn me into something that can't be matched in court. I'm not just going to do basic stuff. I'm going to dig deep into the archives. I'm going to find stuff from, 1899 that may apply to this. All these things. I mean, the Ninth Circuit is going to have a problem when it gets there, because they're going to have a choice between fixing what's right on the table or, losing. Look, even this building doesn't have what that guy was saying, and I know the white shirts. He was definitely a sheriff. He just thinks, or a deputy at least, and he just thinks that because he works for the sheriff's office, he could do so. So now we're here. If it's not closed, we're gonna see if we can find Bretzloff, because let's see, personal smoking. Nope, nothing there that says you can't have survival tools here either. So, and let's see, this one, same deal. So what that gentleman did at the Supreme Court building was an unlawful order, violating my First, Second, and Fourth Amendment right. Now we're going to go into this building and see if we can get a hold of Bretzloff. I'm going to lock my bike up right there at that post, and let's do it. Let's get her done. So here we go again. Like I always say, we got to get the trash out of these offices. If you vote for me, I will make sure that they never do what just happened to me under my watch. And if they do, I will take action. And I'm not talking internal. I'm talking, if you have to serve time and days off, then that's on you. I will not let the city of Buffalo hemorrhage money for any ignorance, like has been allowed and is allowed in a lot of states. It's absolutely unacceptable. Money makes the world go round? No, not when you're just giving it away to people who, could be possible sex offenders or criminals. Not saying that they all are or any of them are, but now you're giving this person juice to do even more horrible things with their settlement money. Or maybe we get lucky and they change their ways, but the taxpayer should not have to pay it. It should come out of the department's funds. And if a department has to close, it's not like Precinct 13 didn't close down back in the day and a few other around the west side. It happens. Let's get the trash out and get the fresh garbage bags in. I stand by the Constitution. I guarantee it. The Constitution is written in iron pen. It's not to be mistaken for any of this stuff. That is their doing, not mine. I didn't choose to have officers tell me unlawful things. They chose to go directly out of pocket over frustration of what I'm doing. I know Michael P. Kearns is scared, but don't stick your guard dog on me thinking it's going to change any factors, because it's not, Mike. And you're just digging yourself deeper from the promise you made me when you shook my hand like a man and didn't follow up for 3 years, almost 3 years. So, maybe it's time we replace that person too.